Ancient Rome will forever be a fascination. Rome grew from a small town on the bank of the Tiber River to a powerful empire that included large portions of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Although Rome is not quite the power it once was, there are still many inventions from ancient Rome that are in use today. Everything from newspapers to architecture and even surgical techniques began in ancient Rome, and it is still a civilization that is heavily studied and learned from today. However, while the incredible inventions of ancient Rome are frequently discussed, what's not talked about so much are the personal lives of citizens during this time period. Did anyone marry for love? Welcome back to Nutty History. Today, we're going to be talking about what love and marriage was like in ancient Rome.
Okay, let's do it.
Ancient Rome was not known for equality between the sexes. The empire still valued men and their perceived needs far above women, and this was evident in the way marriages and relationships were conducted. Although there were some marriages that took place for love, the feelings of both parties generally didn't particularly matter if the union was what the fathers of the pair wanted. Not only was marriage often dictated by men, but men had a lot more freedom within the marriage to do as they pleased. While marriage in ancient Rome was expected to be monogamous, men frequently had marital affairs with other women.
Stop. So you hear what they said. So marriage in the Roman culture was expected to be, I want you to rewind it back. It was expected to be monogamous. What does that sound like? You go to other countries in the world, that's not true. You go to the Arab countries, African countries, that's not true. But in all the countries that the Europeans have conquered and colonized and whatever they did, they're spreading their culture all over the world. Hellenize it. Alexander the Great, Alexander the so-called great, he did it. The Roman did it. And every time they do Hellenization, teaching their culture. So they expect them to be monogamous only. But I want you to listen to what he says after that. So I'm going to rewind it back so you guys can hear it and tell me if this doesn't sound like America.
Elder, you want me to put that poll in there now or wait till after the video?
Wait till afterwards. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
I hope you understood the question. So that's just two, yeah.
Okay.
Had a lot more freedom within the marriage to do as they pleased. While marriage in ancient Rome was expected to be monogamous, men frequently had extramarital affairs with other women and men. As long as the individuals men had intimate relationships with were not freeborn Roman citizens, nobody questioned it. And in fact, it was often expected, as men were seen to be highly intimate beings who needed to be satisfied.
Stop.
Soliciting escorts.
So guys, are you guys hearing this? They expected them to be monogamous, but they had extramarital affairs. It could be with a woman and it can be with a man. Let me give you an example. We got ours, what they call him? President Barack Obama. Barack Obama. It was already known that this man was a homo. It was already, everybody knew. The guy came out, said that he gave him head, whatever. Smoking crack, weed, everything, came back twice to his hotel. And he was a senator at this time. And all the reporters knew. You got Candace Owens, you got what's his name? Tucker. What's Tucker's first name?
Carl Tucker.
Carl Tucker. They said everybody knew. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I knew before he became president. You have to understand, I live 3 hours away from Chicago. When I used to play for the Green Bay Packers, I had to do a lot of speaking engagement, sometime in Chicago, in Milwaukee, because that's where it was mostly city. And I did a lot of autograph signing and things, and I took it, and they always wanted me to go down there, and I took limo drives. And I remember a limo guy telling me, this is when I think Obama was just doing when he came out, and before he before he did the DC, talked about this local senator, Barack Obama. You know, yeah, and he was a Christian. So he was just telling me he was a Christian. He was just kind of telling me like, hey, you know, I mean, the world is not what you want. You know, you think it is. You got politicians, they doing stuff on the side. And I remember him mentioning this guy named Barack Obama. And I knew that just because I was in politics. So I studied politics. So I knew about the local and I knew about him. And so when he actually ran and I saw him saying, wow, he sounds good. And then when he decided to run for president, I'm like, oh, I can't vote for this guy. I know this guy. And then he tried to come off as a married man. with children. He has his wife, he has his 2 daughters, all up front. And he probably has a relationship, but he has a relationship on the side, just like they did back in the Roman culture. Everybody knew about this. They said, if you talk about Obama's private life, about what he's doing on the side with men, guess what? You will not have an opportunity to, we won't allow you to come to the White House to interview him. You won't have access. They will cut access. They were doing cancel culture back then with reporters. And the reporters are supposed to be the freedom of press. They're supposed to be getting the words out to the people, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're afraid of access. You see what's happening now? So they were already doing cancel culture back in Obama days with reporters. Now they're doing it to all of us. I may get canceled for talking about this. And then people in the locker room is all mad at me because I didn't vote for Obama. They say, you got to vote for him, he's black. I'm like, I can't vote for him because, I was very, looking at the book, see what he stood for. I said, I can't vote for this man. I grew up Democrat. Then they said, oh, you became Republican because you got money. No, it just made sense at the time. But that's a perfect example. You got all these things. That's what Christian. You got pastors doing the same thing. Christian pastors. What do they do? You got the president of Liberty University. His father was the founder of the biggest Christian college in the United States, is Liberty University. He got his wife. And then he likes looking at his wife getting banged by the pool boy. This is Christianity. You got Eddie Long. What did he do? Messing with little boys, but then he comes out in front and stage play. This is what Christianity does. You got T.D. Jakes. Did you guys see this thing about T.D. Jakes? What P. Diddy went to his birthday party and dancing and everything? And everybody know that P. Diddy is a homo. He likes to go both ways too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I'm really in trouble now. P. Diddy, Pub Daddy, going around doing homo stuff, and you got T.D. Jakes sitting up there hanging out with P. Diddy. You see this? That's why you can't get truth out of those guys. That's the spirit of error right there. Go look it up. T.D. Jakes and Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Pub Daddy, whatever his name is, puffing on some people's hallelujah. Have mercy on me. Did you know about this?
You sent it to me this morning.
Oh, did you see it?
I watched it, yeah.
Guys, this is sick. So that's all I'm telling you. This is nothing new. See, it's new to us because we in this generation, but guess what? They did this before in Rome. Thousands of years in Rome. Christianity is a Roman guys. All the Christianity that you know that's in this country, in the United States of America, if you live in the United States of America, if you live on this land, all you see is every Christian form. I don't care what denomination Christianity comes from. It all came from the Roman Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Roman. There's a reason why they say Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church stole the people's book, the Hebrews, the Israelites' book. They stole our book. They stole all of our artifacts when they sacked Jerusalem in 70 AD. They were already conquering that, occupying that area, even the time of Yeshua.
Yeah.
And when they were done and kicked all the Israelites out, they took all of our stuff. Now it's in the basement of the Vatican. They studied and said, we know how to keep these people cursed and how we can be blessed. Get these people to not keep the commandments. Let's do forced conversion. So they start forced conversion and making sure that the Israelites were no longer keeping the commandments of Yah.
No Judaism.
They would start taking they don't Judaize. They were taking their properties away from them. They were burning them at the stakes if they would not convert. And if the father and the mother didn't want to do that, they took the children away from them because they were baptized. They took the children and they raised them up to be Christians. I'm not making this thing up. You do your research, prove all things, test it. That's just historical right there. And you can see it in the book they were doing that. You can see in the Apocrypha where they're trying to get these boys to eat pork. They try to get the old man, say, hey, we'll give you meat. Just stage play. Be a stage player for us. Just eat the meat that's okay for you, so you're not sinning. But just do it so they think you're eating pork, so we can get these Hebrews, these Israelites, to eat pork. He says, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather die.
That's it. Come on.
And it makes sense, guys. I mean, it makes it strategically. It makes sense. Okay. If we keep these people cursed, we the head, they're the tail. That's what their God says. That's what their mighty one said. So let's do that because these people are strong. So let's keep them divided. Let's keep them cursed. Let's teach them our Christmas, our Easter, our Sunday, our birthdays. Let them be so immersed in our culture that they will remain cursed and they won't even know what happened because they don't even know who they are anyway. They're the hidden ones. When I found out that I was an Israelite, man, it was like, why? It makes sense why they did what they did to my family. It makes sense. The more so, I'm talking about, boom. And they don't even have an answer what they did. You would think that I did something horrible. And to this day, not one person, the closest thing I got, word on the street I got is that I'm demonic. I'm demonic. But people who come here talks about the peace that they get when they come here. No one can say Kabir cheated us. He doesn't pay his bills. No one can say that. Anyway, it's just utterly amazing. So we're gonna keep playing, but this is going on right now. Obama, he's not just a flaming liberal. He's all up in it. Now it makes sense. That's all Obama's known for. What is Obama known for? He's the one that ushered in the LGBTQ agenda.
Yeah.
He's the one that lit up the White House in rainbow colors. He's the one that done it, and it makes sense because he's gay.
Exactly.
Are you gay? Obama is gay, and now he's trying to spread. He even tried to go to Kenya and spread his homosexual ways, and he comes out as a stage player as if he's a Christian man that's married to his wife. I don't even know if those are his children now. That may be a front. Maybe he is. I don't know. I'm telling you, man, it's off the chain. But this is what's going on in this country, and everybody knew. Reporters knew. So what does that tell you about the fake news? The fake news are not going to tell you the truth because they want access. I wonder why they don't do that with the Trump. They sure get on him.
Yeah.
They don't care about losing access there.
Exactly.
Man. But when it came to Obama, oh, no. Because everybody in the media is what? They're gay. A lot of them are gay or supported.
A lot of them are liberals, yeah.
Yeah. All right, keep playing. Let's look at America. This is America before, and whatever happened to Rome is going to happen to America eventually. That's why I've come out of her. Come out of her, my people. Play it.
Escorts was not taboo, and in fact, escorts often showed up in large numbers at parties and celebrations. Same intercourse relations between men were not frowned upon, and it was very common for husbands and single men to engage in intercourse with all genders. Conversely, although women did have affairs, it was not nearly as accepted, and female intercourse was always expected to be more conservative, with chastity being highly valued. In fact, there was even a group called the Vestal Virgins in Rome, a collection of women from high-born families who were selected as children to lead a life of celibacy and keep the sacred flame in the temple of Vesta alight. These women had unique privileges.
See, guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys see it, but this remind me of the Roman Catholic Church. That's where the nuns come in. These are nuns. That's what it looks like they're describing to me as nuns.
Yeah, straight up.
That's what the nuns do. They can't have sex. They're celibate, and then they just serve in monasteries or wherever they serve or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. Nuns. This is before Christianity. Nuns. I'm thinking about these people having sex with married men, having sex with guys. I mean, you see this even in sports. Magic Johnson. I mean, you hear stories of NFL players and basketball players doing the same type of lifestyle. Stage players. You got people in the black community in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. They used to use, I don't even know they call them down low anymore. They used to be called down low. Now no longer down low anymore.
Yeah, now just I don't know.
It's up. It's everybody's coming out. Oh, but thanks to Obama, they don't have to be down low. Obama has now made the. Let me tell you right now, what Constantine was to Christianity, right? What Constantine was to Christianity is what Obama is to the homosexual, the LGBT community.
Say that again.
What Constantine was to Christians, he's the one that brought Christianity the way into Rome. It's the same thing Obama did with the LGBTQ. Yeah. Supposedly Christians were being persecuted. Supposedly. I don't even know the Christians that were being persecuted, but I know it wasn't. But he became a Christian and made it legal. He made Christians legalized. He legalized Christianity. The same way Obama legalized same-sex marriage.
That's a good point.
I wonder if it's only one man now. One woman, one woman. You know? I mean, this is crazy. But let's keep hearing about how America, if you want to know where America came from, it came right here. This is where it came. This is where all the Christian churches came from. They came from Rome. Roman Catholic Church. Every denomination, Lutheran, Roman. Was it Pentecost? Roman. I don't even know. What's all the other stuff? What's some of the other denominations?
They all come from their mother, the Catholic Church. Yeah.
AG, Assembly of God, Roman. Non-denominational, Roman. You can play non-denominational. Come on, you can't hide. John Wesley. What's John Wesley? That's a Methodist, Roman.
Oh yeah,
these are all the daughters of that comes from Roman Catholic Church. They produced all this stuff, and that's all this is. So they cloak it, they cover it with the Bible, and make you think they're Bible. But the whole time, we're not looking at anything that's Hebrew. We're looking at something that comes from Rome. Play this stuff, and then I'm gonna take my stuff so I can take a break here.
Privileges such as the right to own property and vote, but their chastity was held in such high regard that any who broke their pledge could be stoned to death or left in a closed room to die. Quite the punishment. All these decisions were made by men, as they held every position of authority. Even within individual households, men were understood to be the leader, and women were expected to respect and obey their rule. Turns out the ancient Romans were not too concerned with age, especially when it came to females. In ancient Rome, the legal age for girls to marry was just 12 years old. For boys, it was 15. But it was not uncommon for men to wait until their mid to late 20s to get married, as it was thought men were not mentally balanced until the age of 26. Girls were thought to be much more mature and ready for the complexities of marriage. The idea that girls mature much faster than men begs the question, why were men in charge if they could not control their thoughts and urges until they were almost 30 years old? As already mentioned, love was not necessarily a common reason to marry. Marriages were frequently arranged between families to maintain social status and benefit each other in some way, but the marriage ceremony was not quite like we know it today. There were 3 different types of marriages that were recognized in ancient Rome. The first, titled conferratio, was what was known as a patrician marriage, or a marriage between people of nobility.
Can you rewind that back? So they're going to talk about marriage, but guys, look at this. I mean, marriage, just in the last 200 years, marriage had nothing to do with love. That was very rare. But what does people get married for now? Love. Back in the day, it had to do with duty. It had to do with rights. Title, things and stuff like that had nothing to do with this romantic type of stuff. Even in Rome, I was surprised to find that out. So all these people said, well, he doesn't love me anymore. Are you still getting food, shelter, conjugal rights? Okay, then what's the big deal?
Yeah,
This whole love, huh?
I was gonna say they were saying how people would get kicked out of office if they showed their affections publicly to their wives.
Yeah, public affection. Man, I can tell, man. And let me not go back to my past, but I mean, the stuff that Christians was counseling was saying, well, won't you take her on a date night and won't you rub her hair and hold her hands? And I'm like, it just seemed like so. And I'm like, what for? What for? What? If we're gonna do our stuff, we do it in the privacy of our home. I don't need to be doing to the whole world, And it's okay if that's what you want to do. But they're like forcing you that you have to do that. And if you're not doing that, you're a bad husband. Where does that come from? Where does that come from? Show me in the Bible, thou shalt rub your wife's hair in front of everybody.
Oh, hell no.
Or take her on date nights. It says food, shelter, contract rights. I've been in this ministry for almost 7 years, been married or been in a covenant relationship with Bree for 4, and haven't taken her out maybe on any really date night. Not even leave the house. No problems. Haven't had any issues. Our date night is when we go to Walmart or we got to go to the store and do something. That's a big deal.
Hallelujah.
That's like, wow. Or taking them to their appointments if they have like some type of appointment. Isn't that amazing? But in Christianity, if you're not throwing some money down, it's crazy. It's off the chain. But now they're going to talk about the different types, and you're going to see what type of marriage we practice in this country. That blows me. They had 3 types of marriages, meaning marriage ceremony in Rome. And look what we end up practicing. And it wasn't, and what we practiced wasn't even the norm. It was for the wealthy. I'm just going to let me just say right now, it was for the wealthy. The common people didn't even have the marriage. The marriages that we have now, common folks will go broke to have the type of marriage that they were having in Rome. They will freaking go into debt to have the marriage that in Rome, you had to be wealthy to have that type of marriage. But the common people, the common folks, they didn't have that marriage. But go watch the common folks get married in this country. They will literally start their marriage, start their family in the hole. In the hole. They will buy their wife $10, $20, $30,000, $40, $50, $60,000, $80,000 ring. A ring. Tell me where you see that in the Bible, where any of the patriarchs or anybody in the Bible gave their woman a ring, and the man had a ring.
Exactly.
It all comes from Rome. All comes from Rome. Play it.
As already mentioned, love was not necessarily a common reason to marry. Marriages were frequently arranged between families to maintain social status and benefit each other in some way, but the marriage ceremony was not quite like we know it today. There were 3 different types of marriages that were recognized in ancient Rome. The first, titled conferratio, was what was known as a patrician marriage, or a marriage between people of nobility. At this type of ceremony, spelt cake and bread was shared. This marriage also reinforced the patriarchal structure of ancient Rome, as the bride was given by her father's hand directly to her groom. The second marriage was called coemptio, which translates to by purchase, which meant that a bride was literally sold into marriage by her own family. The final kind of marriage was probably the most likely to result out of love. It was called usus, and was a type of marriage that came out of long-term cohabitation between partners. I'm guessing they were shacking up back then. This type of marriage was reserved for commoners. Given that it took place between nobility, it's natural that the conferratio ceremony was the most elaborate. Before the wedding, omens had to be read, and the wedding could only proceed if the omens were good. The ceremony would then take place at the bride's father's house, and the room would be decorated with flowers and tapestries. A priest and 10 witnesses would gather to witness the event, and the bride and groom would be joined together by a vow recited by a matron. This ceremony usually took place just before sunrise, which was symbolic of the life the couple were about to embark on together. After the ceremony, the bride and groom would sit down while the priest made an offering to Jupiter, and then the 2 of them would share spelt cake, which would signal the end of the ceremony. After a feast with their family.
Are you guys hearing this? The elaborate cakes part. I mean, I'm just looking at this. This sounds like a typical American wedding. An American wedding. And we don't even know that. We got to even start looking at ourselves. I'm talking about us Israel. We got to look sun worship. Yeah. We got to look at ourselves and say, how are we doing our weddings? Making sure that we're not doing what they're doing. Because when I look at the book, it looked like it was a feast. It was a wedding feast or a feast. The father, they made the deal. There was a transaction. Boom, boom, bride price. Boom. The father gave the man. There was no priest. There was nobody saying, hey, I now pronounce you. He gave him and go lay. He took her in, lay with her. You see that with Jacob. What did he tell Jacob? He said, Jacob, just lay with her. He wakes up like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, I thought I was supposed to be with Rachel. What's up with her? He says, I know, man. I can't give the younger before the older. I gotta give the older first. So just finish her week. I'll give you the next week. Boom. The next week, 7 days later, 8 days later, he had another woman. Went to the tent, lay with her, made him his woman. That's it. There was no ceremony. There was a feast. These people have a ceremony. Listen to what he said. They have priests, that people this, witnesses, all these different things. All of our stuff comes from Rome. Go to the courthouse. I got to go to the courthouse because I'm doing some lawsuit against the village of Hobart here, but go to the courthouse. You see that they have columns. If you go to all these courthouses, it looks like Rome.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to take a break. I want to do a survey while this video is playing. I want to do a survey. Put the survey up that we put up. The survey is, I don't know, I can barely see, but it says, does Christian come from Western or Eastern culture? Does Christianity come from a Western culture or an Eastern culture? I want you guys to, I don't know where the link is. Go on the link and vote. I want to see what you guys put in. It's right there under Straightway Live or under Elder Kabir. I want you guys to click that, and we're going to play this, and then we will share the results after the video.
Do you want them to go ahead and vote? Because they'll probably miss the video if they have to leave.
Oh, they have to. I thought you said it was show. Oh, you said they may have to miss.
Well, they may have to leave depending on what kind of.
Okay, well let's let them vote then. Let's see, because you're right. Because some people may be on the iPhone app here listening to this stuff. Can you see it? Just click on if you guys click on that link, it will show up on the thing here. So we got 80%. Okay, everybody's seeing that. We got some people that think it's Eastern. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. But I'm back now. Okay, some people say I voted. I'm back. We'll wait. Okay, I'm glad you told me about that because I forgot about that. Are you just clicking next just to see the...
I haven't clicked it yet. I can just refresh it here. So it's changing a little bit here.
So we got some people that think it's Eastern. Okay, that's good. That's good. Give you guys time here. But guys, I'm telling you, everything that I see in this country is wrong. And so it's good. Whoever thinks is Eastern, this is going to be very good for you guys. You're gonna appreciate this video because you're gonna see how wrong you are if you chose Eastern. You're gonna see how more Western. All right, let's play the video. I think we've seen that, but I just wanted to see if anybody was gonna pick it. So we got some percentage there pick Eastern. All right, play the video. Finish this out.
And guest, a procession to their new place of residence would take place. As they walked, the bride would drop coins to honor the spirits of Rose as well as her new husband, while her husband would throw sweets into the crowd. The crowd would then throw those sweets back into the air, a tradition that now manifests as wedding guests throwing rice. Once the newlyweds reached their home, the groom would carry his new bride over the threshold and offer her water and fire as essential elements of their new home. The bride would kindle her first fire, and then everyone would feast again.
Hey, stop. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself on the sword. I remember when I made a covenant with Bree, and I remember we were just joking that I carried her across in my bedroom. Right? Why? Because that's what you see doing, and you don't even know why are we doing this. And I'm thinking to myself, we got to evaluate why we doing the things we doing. Where does it come from? Where does it come from? And I know if I'm doing it, because what? It's because of what I saw on TV. It's the things that I saw in this. It's just this how our mind has been formed. This is what we taught. This is what you do when you get married. This is how it has to look like. And guys, I'm very committed. I'm getting to. I'm really committed to seeking the old path. And I want to know why we do it. Just like I remember when I was a Muslim and no, I was a Christian. And when I became a Christian, I remember, and I ended up doing it anyway because I just kept I couldn't justify why not to do it based off of the Bible. But everybody, all the theologians, all the people who have degrees, all say, no, you're reading it wrong. You're reading it wrong. That's not what it's saying about the Christmas tree. But I remember I said I didn't want to do anything in Christianity until somebody could show me biblically why we have to do this stuff. And we weren't doing Christmas the first few years, but then the children came in and I said, okay, well, we're going to make sure Christmas is going to be about Jesus for real. It's not going to be about Santa. We didn't do anything about Santa. We didn't do anything about the elves or whatever. We was trying to make it about Jesus. But at the end of the day, it still was sinful. I had to repent. Christianity, and why? Because me doing that stuff, all I did was did the very thing the book says not to do, and I just put a curse on myself. I literally cut a tree. I didn't cut a tree. I paid somebody to cut a tree, but they cut a tree, and I dragged that tree, a real tree. I didn't even grow up with Christmas tree. Came in, put it in, held it down. It says it right there what not to do, and I'm doing it. Now, I didn't know it was in there. I didn't put the two together until afterwards. And then guess what? And you have to literally get on your knees. You have to prostrate. You have to prostrate to get, I did. I don't know about you guys did, but I had to prostrate. I had to prostrate to be able to get water inside of the, where the tree is sitting, because if it did, it would dry up and you didn't want fire in the house, to serve the tree, to give it its drink for the day. I had to literally do that.
And even even to put gifts, you have to prostrate.
Yeah, then you had to put a little cape around the bottom of the tree, and you put gifts around, and it's you still serving it. It says, don't bow down nor serve them. You decked it with ornaments, gold and silver. You put a little crown, a little angel on the top of the tree. And then you read in Jeremiah, says, this is what you shouldn't be doing. And you say, wait, hey, no, that's different. That's not the same thing. No, but it's right. No. You didn't see that. They do some Jedi stuff on you to make you gaslight you, make you think that you're not seeing that right. I'm telling you, everything that we're doing comes from this Western culture. All right, finish your play it.
Night was over. The whole thing was quite a production, and the celebrations lasted all day. While there was a lot that was old-fashioned about marriage in ancient Rome, attitudes about divorce sure were not. In ancient Rome, not only was divorce common, but it was also totally accepted. There was no shame in getting divorced, and in fact, remarriage was encouraged. Although this attitude did gradually change, during the ancient Rome period, there wasn't any stigma attached to the idea of divorce, which left couples free to abandon their union as long as both of them consented to it.
Stop.
Although in reality, it was really up.
What do you hear there now? What did you hear there, Deacon?
I was reading what you were texting me.
Oh, sorry. Divorce.
Oh, yeah, the divorce part. Yes.
We got divorce happening left and right. It's off the chain. There's no stigma to divorce. Women are getting divorced and remarriage and divorce and remarriage. I mean, look at Halle Berry. Look at Pamela Anderson. These people get divorced. There's no stigma to it. Everybody just divorce is this nothing. There's no shame for a woman to be in a divorcee. None. And this is what they were doing back then in Rome. This wasn't going in the Hebrew culture, but this was going in Rome. Perfectly fine to get a divorce. Once again, I'm looking at this stuff, seeing these old paintings, listening to this stuff. Wow, this is America. This is exactly what Christianity is literally practicing. Is the Roman culture. It's still here. It's still here. It just looks different, but it's Rome. All right, go back just a little bit because I don't know what they're going to say about these two men.
Gradually change. During the ancient Rome period, there wasn't any stigma attached to the idea of divorce, which left couples free to abandon their union as long as both of them consented to it. Although in reality, it was really up to the men whether or not the marriage was over. Once a divorce was decided, the woman simply took back her dowry and left her husband's home, and that was the end of it.
At least she didn't get half.
Transgender. It's made very cool.
Oh, wow.
So at least is it let the commercial play. But oh my goodness. But anyway, we did not promote that one.
Yeah, that's
you see how that's because you're playing on that end. Yeah, you see that. But anyway, we probably may get boosted up for that one, But anyway, but you guys can clearly see this is how it works. This is divorce. What did Xavier say? 80% initiated by women, 90% if they're educated. Initiate divorce in this country. And then another thing, I don't know how this happened, but it sounds like they didn't get half back in those days. Men were a little bit more in control back in the days. Here is completely a fragment of what used to go on now. You still have all that, but now women totally is taking over. I wonder, I got to study that, see if women took over Rome too. It kind of pretty much was, but anyway, through the men. All right, finish up.
While marriages were expected to be monogamous, we already know that many men regarded that vow quite loosely. However, there were some rules regarding intimate relations that were looked upon much more sternly if disregarded. The first was incestum, which was the violation of a family member, a freeborn Roman citizen, a vestal virgin, or any individual who had made a vow to remain chaste. You may note that this did not include non-freeborn Roman citizens, which meant violations against those individuals were common. The second was raptus, which forbade kidnapping with the express intention of intimate relations. This included women who went willingly, as they could not lawfully do so without their father's consent. The third was steptrum, which was intercourse misconduct, which included consenting extramarital affairs with freeborn Roman citizens. The last rule was casitas, which referred to women who had chosen a life of chastity, such as the Vestal Virgins, who, as mentioned,
what was that?
Nuns.
Yeah.
Could not walk back on their vow without facing severe punishment, or in most cases, death. As a reminder, these women had their choice of chastity made for them by their families, usually when they were only 5 or 6 years old. A consistent theme here is the value of freeborn Roman citizens over anyone else. There were still many slaves in ancient Rome, and they were forced into a variety of positions, including household servants, accountants, doctors, farmers, and miners. Slaves had no rights and were subject to intercourse misconduct and humiliation. Slaves were considered slaves for life, as were any descendants. While slaves were often escorts or intercourse buddies for freeborn Romans, slaves were not permitted to marry or have independent relations with nobility. This type of construct has persisted through many cultures and generations. Although some of these ideas surrounding love and marriage might seem totally archaic, they're not actually as far off as you might think. Dowries still exist in many countries, even if officially they might be illegal. Several countries still allow minors to marry with parental consent, including several U.S. states. And there are still countries where girls are forced into marriages at the insistence of her father, showing that the patriarchy is still alive and well in the tradition of marriage. While these upsetting circumstances still happen, it's heartening to know that these days many more people marry for love than they used to. And as the stigma of therapy disappears, more people turn to a talking session instead of an affair. Hopefully, the more we learn, the more we can work towards happy and long-lasting marriages. We hope you enjoyed this video, and do tell us which other civilization or period shall we cover in this series.
Well, you guys saw America right there. That was America before it was America.